Hello, everybody, and a welcome into the Great Scott Show, the Great Sports Callers Open Think Tank, ESPN 1420, ESPN1420.com. On the docket this hour, tonight's All-Star games, among other things, but she was in Minnesota this week around the All-Star game, pitching in the celebrity softball game, doing all kind of good stuff. Of course, I'm talking about our guest at this time, Jennie Finch. Softball icon, mother of three, Olympic gold medalist, national champion, All-American, all-star celebrity softball pitcher, maybe Adrian Peterson's worst enemy, but a great guest of ESPN 1420 and .com. Jennie, how are you today?
Good. How are you? I think you got all the accolades.
In the past, I've messed one or two up, so I hope I got it right this time.
I think you nailed it.
When we last chatted, you were up in Oklahoma City at the Women's College World Series. Admittedly, you were rooting for the Ragin Cajuns, but did you have strong rooting interest in the final, Florida versus Alabama?
No, but, no. I can't say because Coach Murphy, he's just an awesome guy, and same thing with Tim Walton. So much respect for both of them and their program. So, no, at that point it was just, hoping for some good softball and some good games, which we ended up getting.
Has the SEC become a much stronger softball conference since your playing days at Arizona in the early 2000s?
Oh, absolutely. It's incredible just to see now. It doesn't matter what coast you're from or, where you are planted. There's national championships, coming in from Michigan now, Alabama, Florida, all over. It's not just the UCLA, Arizona, like it was when I played. It's pretty incredible to see the sport grow and now be played all over the country.
Do you think is there any way to calculate how much it's really grown in the last decade, or is it just kind of, you feel like people could come up with stats and statistics, but there really is no telling just how much it's grown?
No, absolutely. I don't think you could put a measure on it, and like I said, I think it's a huge testament seeing Michigan win it, and, it used to be, there was no team past the Mississippi River that had won, and now we've had a couple. So it's exciting to see, and now it's exciting to see even who makes it that far, because it's not the top 8 schools now. That parity within the top 25 is pretty phenomenal.
Softball icon Jennie Finch, our guest right now as we kick off the show. Give her a follow on Twitter at Jennie Finch. That's Jennie, JennieFinch. Just a few days ago, Jennie, you met with young girls from the Reviving Baseball in Inner Cities program. What was that experience like?
So much fun just to be at All-Star and be around the festivities. And, the best part about what I do is being able to get on the field with those future stars. And especially the RBI, they bring baseball, softball into these inner cities where these young athletes may not have the opportunity to play. But thanks to the RBI program, they're able to be introduced to sports and hopefully learn the life lessons that sports teaches them and basically just be active as well. And so we had a blast there, and so incredible to be able to see these kids from all over the country come in and experience the All-Star festivities.
When you ask sports fans, or maybe I should say when I ask sports fans around the country, what's who's the first person you think of when you think of the sport of softball? A lot of times they're going to say Jennie Finch. You're the most recognizable face in the sport, and at only 33 years old, people refer to you as a legend of the game. It seems to me, Jennie, that you understand the importance of your celebrity status, and you really have a desire to use it in a positive way, sharing your faith, sharing your knowledge of the sport that helped make you famous. Do you look at it that way? Do you look at it that black and white, or is it just kind of, I take what I'm given and I try to do good with it?
Absolutely. I feel very fortunate and so blessed to have been able to accomplish my dreams and live those out and meet so many amazing people and travel the world through the sport of fast pitch softball, and just to see the opportunity now for not only women in our game but all across the country and our world. It's pretty amazing, and I embrace the role model. There's nothing better than seeing a young girl's face light up, or getting an email or a tweet saying, because of you I started playing. And that's what it's all about. It's about, hopefully encouraging and inspiring the next generation, and hopefully providing more opportunity for them as well.
ESPN 1420 and .com, Jennie Finch, our guest. You helped raise, I think, $312,000, if I'm not mistaken, for the Wounded Warrior amputee softball team recently. How did that come about, and where does that one rank on your list of passion projects?
Oh, it was unreal. Like I said, being able to do that for our true real life heroes, our servicemen and women. My husband and I had the opportunity of playing against them with FCA softball in Florida, and I was blown away. And I was, telling my husband Casey, I was like, we got to get him to come to Sulphur. We got to get him to come to Sulphur. And the first year, people didn't even know what it was, but we, raised over $200,000, and it's a true testament to the community and to Louisiana for their giving hearts and the pride and the generosity that they have towards our servicemen and women. And they just came back for their second time this past June, and we were blown away. $300,000. The people were so generous, just their hearts, and over 8,000 people came through the gates to watch them play. Willie Robertson came in, and everybody pretty much on their own dollar and dime to come in and share this experience. And our Veterans March on the field was amazing to honor our local veterans. It was truly something very, very special.
Great stuff from you and your husband, Casey, and everybody involved with that. Inspirational. And you have so many different passions. And, of course, college softball's right up there with them, and just college athletics in general. You talk about the Capital One Cup each time we have you on. And since we last chatted, I feel like you guys have you've crowned a champion in men's and women's sports from Capital One Cup. For those that perhaps didn't hear our conversations over the last few months, quickly just tell them a little bit about Capital One Cup and the results of this past year.
Yeah, the Capital One Cup awards the best NCAA Division I athletic programs for their cumulative on-the-field performances, both men's and women's sports. And so it shines light on those programs and sports that may not get the attention that others do, and along with female athletics. And I'm honored to sit on the advisory board for Capital One, and we'll be honoring and rewarding Notre Dame men and the Florida Gators women this year at the SB Awards tomorrow night. And not only do they get the bragging rights of the Capital One Cup trophy, but they also get $400,000 cumulative for the student-athlete scholarships of those schools. So a big win for both of those schools, and you can go to CapitalOneCup.com to find out where your school ranks or how they did this past year.
Well, when we talk to you, we usually bring up the Cajuns, and recently one survey had them as the 34th most successful athletic program in the country this last year. So you don't just have to be a school with a giant athletic budget to make it. Success across the board can land you in the Capital One Cup, can it?
Absolutely, and that's one of the reasons why I root for the Ragin Cajuns. It's because of what they've been able to accomplish on the national stage. It's pretty amazing, and so lots of good things. Yes, and each sport, like for the men, it came down to the last championship where if Virginia would have won, Virginia would have won the cup, but Notre Dame was able to hold on to it with them falling short. So it's always fun, and you follow it all year long, and that one just so happened to come down to the wire.
Being that you live down here in the humidity of South Louisiana in the summer, and we all love living down here, what was the weather like up there in Minnesota?
Oh my gosh, what was it, Sunday night when we played our game, it was gorgeous, probably 80, a beautiful breeze, and then Monday morning we woke up and it got down to 60 degrees. Wow. So quite a bit of difference in those 2 days, but it was beautiful. Minnesota did a great job. The fan support was just tremendous. It was a great environment to be in, and an honor definitely to get on that field and play slow pitch softball with some of the best baseball players of all time.
ESPN1420and.com. Scott Prather here, the Great Scott Show, visiting with softball icon Jennie Finch. So you just mentioned, our game, as you put it, the celebrity softball game. Before we talk about facing Adrian Peterson, when you first came into the game, you were lobbing pitches to your opponent. Is that kind of understood in these type of games, that you're going to kind of take it easy on the opponents and not throw them the heat?
Yes, unfortunately, it's called slow pitch softball, which I'm not so much of a fan on it. I definitely prefer throwing hard, just because it's like my neck gets more sore from my arm, from my neck. Watching home runs being hit out of the ballpark left and right with the slow pitch. So, but of course, there's always that one that gets to see a couple fastballs, and Adrian Peterson was the one this year.
Now, Adrian Peterson is a beast of an athlete, but he like asked you to throw the heat. Is that right?
He was, yes, he was begging. He was like, you got to go hard at me. I want to see it. I can hit it. I can hit it. And so when he stepped up to the plate, Piazza gave me the go-ahead nod. And so sure enough, he got one and then asked for another. And then I don't think he wanted to keep going, but it wasn't about us. It was like, all right, we got to get back to the slow pitch game. But he was a lot of fun. He's a good sport with it all.
All right, take us back to your approach whenever you knew you were going to be throwing him the heat. Is it just, hey, look, we know you know in your mind like he's probably not going to hit off of you, right?
Yeah, but you never know. He had a good swing, an amazing athlete, and so you never know how it's going to go. I stuck with the rise ball just because that seems to be the hardest one to hit, and usually their hands drop, which the rise ball kind of rises over their hands in the barrel of the bat. So, and then on that stage, there was probably over 50,000 people in the stands. You never want to have the one, happen in that case. So there's a little bit of pressure, gets the juices flowing, but overall it's all in fun.
ESPN 1420 and Dicom. Well, Adrian is one of the best athletes I've ever seen, and you come across many great athletes, Jenny. You yourself being one. In Minnesota, you're surrounded by some of the best in the business. My question is, have any male athletes over the years challenged you or made claims, hey, look, I can hit off of you, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a sexist thing like, oh, I can hit off of you because you're a woman, and maybe that's happened, but have you had many challenges from male athletes that are in the limelight over the years?
Usually, that's the first thing that, nice to meet you. And then it's like, I think I can hit it. I think I can hit it, and I remember LeBron James at the Olympics, he was going on and on. He's like, all right, we're going to meet up. We're going to meet up. I want to face you. And then he ended up sending me a signed jersey that said he could hit off me, so then I sent him one bag saying, yeah, right, still waiting for you to get in the batter's box. So there's always, lots of fun moments like that.
Is there a particular favorite story that comes to mind?
I would say probably the LeBron James one because it went further than just kind of saying, like, he actually, through a mutual friend, kind of was talking trash on his autographed jersey that he sent down to me. And then I actually sent him, like, an extra small and said, I hope this fits,
I like that.
And waiting for you in the box. So that was a lot of fun.
You see, all this LeBron James news in the sports world lately, and only right here can you get it from Jennie Finch and her face-off with LeBron. Are you a Major League Baseball fan? Do you watch it much?
I am. With 3 kids, we don't get to watch too much. But with my oldest just starting travel baseball, we've been kind of tuning in a little bit more. And my all-time favorite was, traveling around with Casey, watching him play. It was almost just like therapy because it was a relaxing downtime just watching him play ball, usually with my son Ace in tow. And so that was, super enjoyable. And then I grew up in Southern California, and we had season tickets to the Dodgers. So I grew up a big Dodgers fan. And now, obviously, Casey had played some time with the Astros. We followed the Astros a little bit. And then, like I said, it's kind of reviving a little bit, having Ace now kind of following the players and the games as well.
Who does Ace root for?
He's a huge David Ortiz fan.
Okay, Big Pappy.
Oh, yes. And don't know where that came from. Just out of the blue, that's his guy.
What's next on Jennie Finch's busy schedule? Because it seems like we've chatted with you 3 times in the last 2.5 months, and you're constantly on the go. You're doing work with the Capital One Cup. You're helping out with charities. You're throwing a camp. Is there any time for a break at some point this summer, or is there something next big coming up?
Well, I have a speech tomorrow, like you said, to reward the Capital One Cup, and then Thursday is the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. So looking forward to doing that with our oldest son Ace here in LA, and then we get some downtime visiting with my parents here. And so hopefully there'll be a vacation in here sometime soon. But usually when I'm home, that's my downtime. It's low key, nothing going on, and then I travel here and there. But life's pretty good. Life's still staying busy. Like my husband Casey said the other day, he said, "What happened to that slowing down? I'm still waiting for that to happen." You said after your playing days were over, that was going to happen, but we can't complain. That's for sure.
Yeah, some people are a little busier in retirement than others. But one more question for you, Jenny, and this is from some of our listeners, knowing that you live down here in South Louisiana. Been living in Sulphur for a while. Grew up in Cali. What's your favorite Cajun dish?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love seafood. So basically, oof, I don't know. We were just talking about how good the food is down here.
Yeah, it's like I asked you to say which is your favorite of your three kids, which, I mean, I'm just
I
asking for your
know, and I'm a
favorite
foodie. I
Cajun
love
dish.
to eat, so you can't beat a good gumbo. Um, oh, his papa makes a good rabbit sauce pecan that's out
There
of
you
this
go.
world. So I don't know. I like it all. I can't choose.
I finally stumped her with the final question. Jenny, before we let you run one more time, just fill our listeners in about the Capital One Cup, how they can keep track of the points, and how fun it is.
Absolutely. Go to CapitalOneCup.com. Thank you so much for having me again.
You got it. Jennie Finch has been our guest.